In the stillness of a new morning, there is something sacred. It's not just about setting aside time for God. It's about creating space in our hearts to encounter Him. The world may still be asleep, but He is already near, ready to speak, comfort, and guide. This quiet before the day unfolds is a divine invitation. It allows us to recalibrate our souls and align our hearts with His truth. There's no rush, no pressure, only a deep spiritual pause where His presence becomes real and near. Psalm 46:10 calls us into a posture of surrender. Be still and know that I am God. This verse isn't about physical stillness alone, it's about a deep inner letting go, a choice to stop striving, to release control, and trust that God is God, and we are not. Stillness doesn't ignore pain or pretend everything's okay. It simply acknowledges that even when life feels overwhelming, God remains sovereign. In stillness, He calms our storms, speaks into our confusion, and meets us right where we are. Practicing this kind of quiet trust takes intention. Maybe it's waking a bit earlier, stepping outside, or simply pausing with a deep breath. Silence your phone, still your thoughts, whisper, be still and know. Let His peace settle your heart. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Life often drains us, physically, emotionally, spiritually, but true renewal comes not through our own effort, but through resting in God. Waiting on the Lord doesn't mean passive idleness, it's an active trust, choosing faith over fear, believing that even when we don't see the way forward, God is working behind the scenes. Like eagles lifted by the wind, we rise when we stop trying to fly on our own strength. Where do you need renewal today? Let His word speak to that place. Remember His past faithfulness. Let that memory be fuel for today's faith. God will sustain you. Jesus said, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father. Matthew 6:6. This is a powerful invitation into intimacy. Prayer isn't performance, it's personal. Find a quiet space, a corner, a chair, a park bench. Remove distractions. Come just as you are. Prayer doesn't require polished words. Sometimes it's simply, God, I'm tired. I need you. Speak to Him honestly. Listen for His whispers. He knows your heart, but still wants you to bring it to Him. In private prayer, He restores, reveals, and reminds us of who we are and whose we are. Even Jesus often withdrew to be alone with the Father. If He needed that space, how much more do we? Stillness, trust, renewal, intimacy. These are more than moments. They're habits of the heart. They help us live aligned with God in the chaos of life. Start by creating room. Turn off the noise. Exhale your burdens. Inhale His presence. Bring Him your fatigue. Reflect on how He's carried you before. Trust that He'll do it again. Make this time sacred, not out of obligation, but out of love. Just be with Him. Quiet time isn't religious duty, it's lifeline. A daily anchor, a place where peace replaces panic and grace silences fear. Pause now. Remember a moment when God met you in silence, when His presence was stronger than your pain. That stillness is still available today. Where can you make room for it again? Is it a morning before the world wakes, a walk without headphones, a few minutes of deep breathing before bed? God doesn't need long hours. He simply desires your heart. He'll meet you in the pause. Psalm 46:10 reminds us again, be still and know, He's not far, He's right here. Let this be your declaration today. I rest in God's peace and walk in His strength. He is my refuge and guide, and I trust Him completely. Speak it over your life. Write it down. Let it root deep in your spirit. When anxiety rises, declare it. When uncertainty comes, repeat it. When you feel weak, remember it. God's peace isn't earned, it's received. His strength is made perfect in your weakness, and His guidance is sure, even when your path isn't. As you go about your day, carry this blessing in your heart. May the Lord's peace dwell richly in you. May His strength carry you, His presence surround you, and His love fill you with quiet confidence. In the silence, may you hear His voice. In the stillness, may you find His strength. And in the waiting, may you discover the joy of simply being with Him. Amen.